I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, unto the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, why is it such a big deal that the name God is mentioned in the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, for the past century, and give or take a few years, there's been an ongoing controversy whether or not they should allow religion to be taught in the public school system. I feel I'm kind of well certified to talk about this subject because in high school, as well on this college campus, I did have and do have a college Bible study group kind of sort of going on. I'll be discussing different viewpoints of this subject on each side, whether there should be and shouldn't be religion taught in the schools, which would bring me to my first main point, whether that there should be religion taught in the schools. Oh, on this side of the argument, there's one big part that they would like to mention, and is that it is about teaching about religion, not teaching religion, uh, which would be like teaching versus preaching kind of thing. The teaching about religion has to do with not really like going into detail with like stories and parables and those things, but teaching about like the social impact that some religious communities and different ethnicities do have on the community that they are in, and their political views, because that's always important. Uh, they they look towards informing about different social stances that these different varieties of people have. Uh, and one, which would lead me to my next subpoint, also, there are nearly 315 religious and different denominations in the U.S. alone, as a study founded in September of 2017 in the NCSS new guidelines for religious studies. 315, that's a really big number, and that's back in 2017. So I'm pretty sure that number has risen to at least maybe like 350, if I'm correct. And as well as there being 350 different religions, that's different. That's a different. 315 is a large number to understand and wrap our minds around. So what they would do is teach about like I think there's six main religions in the U.S. today, and they usually go over uh, ideals and morals that these religions have in the classes that are being taken place in the U.S. today. They go over ideas that these religious groups have. Which would lead me to my second point, why there shouldn't be religion taught in the school systems. Well, first, and a really good reason is because it does happen to believe it does happen to be that these are somebody else's kids that we would be teaching religion to. So that does have a strong effect on people's emotions. It's safe to say that religion is a very unique topic to talk about. It can be very eye opening, and it also can bring down some walls and some barriers, and people will kind of shut things out that they don't want to listen to or believe. Uh, and as it is probably so that some children do come to school with a very strong and powerful religious beliefs that they don't want anybody to mess with, and parents have the same viewpoints as well, and having that as well as other religions being pushed down their throats to learn about is probably not a good idea for the school system and the board and all those kind of things, causing conflict and problems that really don't need to be made. And another reason is because of evolution. We all know that the creationism over evolution. Was a big part of even my elementary schooling, learning about Darwin, Charles Darwin, and finches, and all these birds, and all these other animals that have been evolved over time. And teaching religion would have an opposite effect because of the creationism part, and there being a higher being and that nature. So that always is a counter argument, and that people don't really like to look towards. And my last part that I actually didn't talk about earlier, which was like kind of a middle ground. Some people think it would be fine to actually teach both of evolution and creationism and find a middle ground because it would be smart for both sides, kind of like a compromise for both sides to use. And in a study of the Allegard and Edward versus Edwards, it was a court case back into, I don't remember actually, but there was a court case about this a while back, and it discussed whether creationism should be taught in schools. And I looked this up, and the article was written in 2018 by John Taylor. Now I ask you, do you believe that religion should be taught in schools? Because it is a very pressing argument that people do have. In summarization, I would like to state that there's a good chance that people are not going to really change their viewpoints on whether or not religion should be taught in schools or shouldn't be taught in schools. But it is a good idea to think about, and it's kind of eye-opening to think about. Thank you.